Hi, Namaskar, welcome. I am Shivram from Retail Gurukul. I used to work in Titan and Tanishq for almost 20 years and I held roles in sales, merchandising and training. In 2012, I resigned and set up this company, Retail Gurukul. We are a boutique consulting and training company and we have worked with almost 100 clients all across India and in Dubai. Today, let's talk about the best practices in retailing. I have done a 12 or a 1 dozen best practices which I'll take you through over the next few minutes, right? What are the best practices and how each one of them can impact your business. Let's start the first one. The first one is what I call as purpose of the business. All of us know that the purpose of a business is business. In fact, somebody said the purpose of the business of business is business and business only. Nothing more, nothing less. But that was a long time ago. Today, a business has to have multiple objectives beyond one, of course, the main one being making money. What else can be a business objective? You have to look after, let's say, your stakeholders. You have to look after the environment. You have to probably look after your people. You'll have to look after your customers. So those are what can be called as the stakeholders in your business. So in a business of yours, which is let's say retailing, you have to say that my purpose is not only profit but also something else, right? It could be a contribution to a charitable organization. It could be contribution to a religious organization. It could be welfare of your employees, right? How do you make them, let's say, motivated to work for the betterment of the organization? From this purpose, you actually come to what is called as a business plan. Here, having worked with about 100 organizations and having worked many of them, both what we call as professionally organized as well as many family run organizations, the opportunity for organizations to improve really comes at the core of it with a business plan and its business plan objectives. There are organizations, I think once upon a time it was said that Sony has a 150-year business plan, but organizations do have 3-5 year plan. And do you have a plan for your organization? At least a 1 year plan? So a 1 year business plan will talk about, let's say, the top line and the bottom line for your company, and that 1 year plan is then broken down into, let's say, 12 months. And from the 12 months business plan, you can break it down to a weekly and a daily plan. In fact, there are some retailers who give an hourly target to their retail store staff, right? So that's the overall business plan. Let's assume in our discussion today, right, you are looking to do a 100 CR or a 1000 million rupees or a dollars or whatever is your currency, right? The kind of a top line target, right? And let's assume that a 10% profit margin is what you're looking at, right? 10 or 20%, right? Now for this, you need, at least to a very large extent, a brick and mortar place. Sure, there are organizations which are working in the online space, but in this particular case, we'll focus on brick and mortar. So you need to find a location. So we are coming next to the thing called a place. Where would you want to locate? Is it in a high street? Is it in a mall? Is it in a newly developing area? Or would you like to go to an established market? Whether would you be in a Bandra kind of a market, would you be in a Borivali, or would you be in a Thane, in let's say in Bombay? In Delhi, would you be in a Southex or a GK kind of a market? In Chennai, would you want to be in an Osman Road, or would you want to be in let's say Indiranagar, right? So it depends. Then having said that, you then need to move into what is called as, this is the external space or the location, and then there is a place which I like to call as internal, right? Here we talk about what's the kind of interiors and the ambience that you should really be having. Now, what kind of interior and ambience is directly related to the kind of people that you hope to attract. People here, as we mean, is really customers. I was talking to somebody from North India a couple of days back, and he is trying to open a new store. The place has been located. It's in a new market, high net worth individuals and things like that. But the question that we were beginning to ask is, what kind of a flooring do you want, right? Is it a marble flooring? Is it a vitrified tile? Because depends upon, that's probably one of the impressions that you want to give it to your customers when they come into the store and see your merchandise and determine whether you are appropriately priced or high priced, or are you a discount retailer. From here, you have to then understand the kind of people that you want to focus on. We have broken the so-called customer segmentation. Lots of people, especially in the so-called professional companies, will talk to you about SEC A, B, A1, B2, etc. But that's a little, difficult to explain to your front-end retail salespeople as to what to understand from a customer's profile. So what I have done is really identified 4 types of consumers, right? At the top, or at the older age brand, is somebody like a Jaya Bachchan, Amitabh Bachchan and Jaya Bachchan, right? So they are the old classic kind of a consumer profile. Then you come to Aishwarya Rai and her husband, right? That's the second type, maybe in the 40s, people who have reached a stage where they are not yet the 50 plus or the 60 plus like me, right? But it is more in the 40 to 50 brand. It's completely a different profile. Then the third one is Deepika Padukone, right? She is matured as an actress. She's a successful lady in her own right, right? And that's the third profile. And the fourth profile is probably the largest opportunity of consumers, or what they call as the young millennials. They are the ones who are in maybe the 18, 20 to about 30. That's the Alia Bhatt kind of a consumer profile. So if you really look at it, you can explain to your staff as we go into the best practices. If you are getting a customer, try and identify which this customer falls into which kind of a consumer profile. Is it a Jaya Bachchan variety? Is it a Aishwarya Rai? Is it a Deepika Padukone or an Alia Bhatt? Then the merchandise that you would like to, you should really be detailing and retailing to them is coming from there. Next comes what is called as people, and here is where I mean is ours. This is the staff, right? So here we need to identify that what is it that you would like them to do. Are they there just to demonstrate the item, whereas the entire actual business transaction of closing the sale, negotiating the price, is that going to come back to you, or is it that you will want them to complete the closure yourself? That's a very interesting challenge that many retailers are now facing. Many people have built that habit that the final closure happens to be with the owner. And now it's come to a stage where almost every transaction is being pushed by the staff to the owner to close. The reason is that if the sale doesn't happen, the owner is asking the staff, why have you not closed the sale? So the easiest way for the staff to also pass the buck, so to say, is to pass it on to the owner. And then the owner is now getting overwhelmed with the number of negotiations that he has to do. And one interesting insight is that whenever the consumer comes to the owner for a final price, it is invariably, at least in a majority of the family run jewelry business, the discount that the customer has to be given is more than what a salesperson would have closed the sales with. So that's a very interesting food for thought. Then we come to the most important thing, and that's really where I spent a majority of my working experience, is in product, right? It's very normal for the jewelry industry to have a lot of stock. There seems to be some belief, and truly so, to say that quantity is more important than, let's say, quantity. Right, and this itself can be a one-day workshop and a one-year consulting assignment, where we believe that we can improve your stock turn by 15 to 20%. Right, it's a large process, depends upon the organization and depends upon the pace at which the organization is willing to change, but a 20% improvement and optimization of your inventory is definitely possible. So if you're sitting on 50 kgs, 100 kgs worth of inventory, imagine if you're able to release 10 to 20 kgs of your inventory. I'm not saying that it is not adding value. But I'll give you a simple example that at any given point of time, in most jewelers with whom I have been speaking to, 30% of the stock in gold jewelry is more than 6 to 9 months old. I'll repeat, right? If you go back to you take your own case, understand what kind of aging that you have. Between around 25 to 30% of the inventory in gold jewelry is over 6 months old, which means that is something which is just not selling. If you are able to release that inventory, and we are very confident that we can help you to release that inventory, and we have done that with multiple people, that's money that is available, right? That is money that not at 10% return, that's probably costing you 25 to 30% opportunity cost. Somehow we tend to believe that as long as we have a gold in our investment, in our inventory, all my gold rate increase will probably take care of. But if gold rate increase is what you are looking for to give you the profitability, then my question to many retailers is, then why are you in the retailing business, right? You just sit and do COMEX trading or MCX trading, and you should be having your 20-25%, and then all you need is a mobile phone or a laptop or even a phone call today, right? So if the objective is not really to say that, you know, I want to make money from bullion trading, which can be a business in itself, here we are talking about, as a retailer, how are you going to earn your 20-25% return? So product management is an art and science. It's to a majority of us in retailing, it appears to be an art. I seem to know what I think we should be buying. My staff is incapable or is not really having enough expertise. So I am going to do the buying. So the question then I will start by asking you is, how much time do you have as a business owner to spend time on purchase? Sure, you would like to negotiate the making charges or the labor cost with your vendors, but having said that, is there a possibility that you can move it across to your staff, who will be able to select the right kind of product which they believe is most suitable for the consumer? Then I shall quickly take you through the other aspects. We will talk about processes. What kind of processes do you have? And I'll just give you one example here. The example that I would like to give is one of the best practices around the world is really what is called as a morning meeting or a sunrise meeting. It can even be, if your sessions are increasingly today, consumers are coming in the evening on a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday. So around 5 o'clock in the evening, is there a 10-15 minutes discussion as to what is the game plan for the rest of the day, or for the most important portion of the day. Remember when I mentioned to you about the business plan, we are breaking down the monthly targets, right? Monthly business plan into a daily business plan. And a daily business plan today should say that I want to do, let's say, a kilo of gold and maybe 100 or 200 carats of diamond. Now, how am I planning to achieve that number today? Then we talk about partners. Here we mean your vendors, your suppliers. There seems to be a tendency that it's like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship, right? I think it should be like an Indian marriage. A boyfriend-girlfriend relationship today is it's there today, not there tomorrow. So with both vendors, the vendors are looking at hundreds and 200. I have a couple of vendor manufacturers as my clients, and you ask them how many retailers do they supply to. Oh, we supply to 300 retailers, right? Then I ask them how many of them bought in the last month. They probably is about 10 or 15 or 20. So those 10, 15, 20 are, and you ask them how many of them been buying consistently once in every 2 months or so, then it comes down even further. You look back and ask retailers like you, how many vendors you have. Typical answer is, I got between 50 to 100 vendor manufacturers who supply to me, whether you are a wholesaler, whether you are a manufacturer, whether you are a small karigar, 50 or 100. Now, if you have got 100 vendors to manufacture, you think that you have a lot of choice to pick and choose and bargain with each other. But from his point of view, if you probably are bargaining too much and leaving nothing on the table, the best of the products will never ever be shown to you. He is going to give it to demonstrate the first quality or the first rate products or the new designs that he manufactures to a bunch of retailers who give him a much better price or who give him who make payment promptly. From this processes and partners, we also need to understand what is, let's say, promotions, right? So again, a lot of money is being spent on how do you promote? Do you promote it with a newspaper ad? Do you promote it with a radio FM broadcast? Do you have a loyalty program? There's a whole bunch of it. Each one of them is a project kind of a thing in itself, and it's up to you or up to us, right? How do we actually build the whole promotion game in such a way that the purpose and the business plan is achieved. There is what I call now as performance metric. We can say that all that is fine, it is गुरु जी और रिटेल गुरुकुल का भाषण हो सकता है, लेकिन हमको कैसा मालूम है कि ये पूरा करने के बाद कुछ पैसा वसूल हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है, ये बिजनेस प्लान हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है. तो इसीलिए हमको चाहिए what we call as metric, right? Again, it is a very interesting thing that हम ऑब्जर्व कर रहे हैं कि बहुत लोगों के पास ये मेट्रिक रहता ही नहीं है, राइट? कितने लोग आ रहे हैं, कितने लोग जा रहे हैं, कितने लोग खरीद रहे हैं, कितने लोग क्या खरीद रहे हैं, कितना दाम का खरीद रहा है, कौन काम कर रहा है, कौन काम नहीं कर रहा है, राइट? दैट इज जस्ट एट द पीपल फ्रंट. Then on the product front, is there a metric? Can you tell me which are the products which are moving, which are the products which are not moving, etc., etc., right? So you need performance metrics, right? And then finally, all said and done, you need to have a problem solving approach. Okay, it's very, very important that कौन सी बिजनेस भी हो, सुबेरे अच्छा दिखता है, दोपहर को कुछ प्रॉब्लम, सुबेरे प्रॉब्लम है, शाम को अच्छा दिखता है. सो यू हैव टू एवेल्युएट and begin to see how to solve this problem. If you don't have walk-ins and there are no events to be done, how can I see it as an opportunity or a problem solving? So if you observe all of them, right, they are all starting with peace. And finally, if you do all these things, our belief is that you can increase your profits. We are coming to multiple cities. We are doing it in Chennai, we are doing it in Mumbai, we have done it in Ahmedabad, Surat, we have done multiple times in Bombay. So my request to you is we do two types of programs. This is mostly about focused on the owners of the business. We do another program for the sales staff. My request to you, my invitation to you, my advice, if I can say so to you, is please attend this program. It's a one-day program which is typically held in a hotel, right? Block that one day. You can reach out to us at retailgurukul.com and the calendars are there, and attend the program, and we believe that we will give you a minimum of 25 takeaways, right? 25 action points at the end of the day, serious action points which tomorrow morning you can go back and implement. I'll just give you a thought and I leave it to you, right? When do you pay the salaries to your staff? Most of us will say I pay it on the 7th. That is as simple a point of action that you will take away as to should you be paying on the 7th or the 8th, or should you pay it on a different day. With that, thank you very much and namaskar. And incidentally, how does your staff greet your customer? Is it a namaskar? Is it a hi? Is it good morning? Is it in Hindi? Is it in Pushtu? Is it in Urdu? Is it in Bengali? Right? So from the look of the customer profile, you should be in a position to change the language of greeting. Thank you very much. Right? We look forward to reaching to you. My name is Shivram. I'm the founder of Retail Gurukul. Right? We have a lot of our client testimonials also on the website. My request to you is to please view the videos there, browse through the website. It takes about 11 minutes to really go through the entire website as it is today, and reach out. My phone numbers are there, 90360366524, and we can surely have a chat. Incidentally, everybody loves a freebie. If you would like to talk, I have a half an hour free consulting on telephone. So make use of it and we will chat it over. Thank you very much. Bye.